to Zen Fit's beautiful Saturday morning here in Blackstone, the center of the world, but then you too are at the center of the world. So let's jump right into it. The title, oh, I forgot to write the title. I'll do this later. The title is Our Zen Moment in History, the Impeachment. We're living in, remember Jon Stewart? And he would always end his show with, here's your moment in Zen. Well, a Zen moment is an awakening. In Zen, the whole purpose of Zen is satori, to create the conditions for an awakening, a satori. Aha! Eureka! I see it. Boom! It's like a flashbulb. You know when you've got a camera and you're using low light, or maybe the room is dark, and you got a flashlight, and you look around, take a picture of that with the flashlight, and but then you put on the flashbulb, and boom! For a moment, you see the whole room. And now everything fits in context, because before when you were looking with the flashlight, you were trying to put together, what kind of a room am I, what is this room that I'm in, what is this world that I'm in? So you piece it together. Oh, there's a chair, and oh, there's a plant, and there's a rug. And so you begin to build the room by piecing together all the pieces. Then it may take a lifetime to find all the pieces in the room, because you can only see what the flashlight is pointing to. So you build a story, and other people are building a different room. Well, I don't think it's in, you're not in a living room, it's a bedroom. Oh no, we're in the kitchen. And so everybody's got a different idea of what house they're in, you see, because they're looking through it as a little consciousness of a flashlight, you see. And then you get into groups. You have the kitchen group, and you have the living room group, and you have the bedroom group, and they all start a war arguing about which room they're in. And then somebody puts a flashbulb on their mind, their camera, and pop! And for an instant, they see the whole room, and they know, I'm in the bedroom. You guys are wrong. But they don't have a flashbulb. So they don't agree with you, because they didn't see the whole room. All they can see is what they have constructed and invested in and put their money into and put their whole identity into it, put their God into it, you see. And they'll die, because without that room that holds together all of their little flashlight pieces of discoveries would return to chaos. It's the room that holds together all the pieces and gives it meaning. What's the meaning of this? Well, it depends on the room or the context or its use, you see. So if you take away that context, everything just falls like cards. Just, the snowman comes down. The icicles fall off the house. Everything collapses. And you collapse with it, you see. That's terrifying. That's psychosis. That's a psychosis. The fear of psychosis is having no center that holds the world together. You're just in a swirl of data. It's like when you're first born. When we're first born, the world is just data. And we are our mother, that nipple, boom, that's the fixed point. Excuse me. The nipples of the breast are the fixed point for the infant mind to stabilize the world. And from that, it begins to build out, you see. And then as language is developed, the child, what's that? What's that? What's that? And the mother says, that's a car, that's a house, that's a dog, that's a turd, don't touch that. and he builds a world, you see. But the infant builds a world in the culture of the mother. And then when the child leaves the mother in childhood, he goes into the larger world. And he begins to build that in the same way he built the other one. But what's the nipple in the larger world? What's the fixed point? What holds it together, you see? You have to have a fixed point to hold the world we're building, or else it collapses. You're in a whiteout, a snowstorm. You have no compass, you see. I guess so I'm straying a little bit here, so let's get back on target. Our Zen moment is happening with the impeachment. Now, the impeachment is a drama, a real-time national morality play, a real-time national presentation of realities. What is the truth? This is Pontius Pilate, all the way back in the Bible with Jesus. What's the truth? What is truth? What's real? What's not real? This is where we began, with the child. I saw a big monster in my room. Well, it's not real. It was just some look, honey. It was just your robe on the bedpost. Oh, so we're constantly caught in the dilemma: what's real, what isn't real? Because if it's unreal, we lose our compass in this whole thing. The room we believed, is this a kitchen, or is it a bedroom, or is it where am I? You see. So what's real makes us real by giving us a shape and a context and meaning and a fixed point. Something that's fixed, you see. Reality is always in flux. Everything is changing, but unless we have something fixed, unless we have something to hold on to, we just fall back into the chaos of a whiteout, psychosis. I don't exist. No meaning, you see. So we're looking at an impeachment, a morality play, where we're asking whether the president is real or unreal. We're asking whether the fixed point, now the president, in our political reality, in American reality, is the fixed point upon which the whole tent, the whole dome, the whole tent is held up. It's a tent pole. So now we have two parties. Got the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. And they're like reality tents. They're like a room in the house. They're like the Republican is like the living room. And the Democrats are in the bedroom, you see. And they're completely different rooms. And they have completely different ways of use, ways of doing things, you see. But the fixed point for the Republican, for the whole America, is the president. But now the Republicans have claimed the president as their fixed point. And that's always been the way with the Republican Party, the movement conservatism, since Nixon. Before that, but really, the whole idea of the Republican viewpoint is that of a worldview or idea that is held up by the president. Because the president is the individual who acts and makes history in this viewpoint. So there's two viewpoints of what makes history. The viewpoint of the Republican Party, historically, is that of the heroic man, the Napoleon. These are two ways of looking at history. It's not just politics. What makes history? The heroic action of an individual, or do conditions make history? So we're looking for the first cause of history. Well, from the right's view, the cause of history is an individual choice, the free individual. And this is true. I'm not finding fault here. We're just trying to understand the juxtaposition of two worldviews that are on display in our impeachment. So the worldview of the right is that the individual makes history, therefore the individual must be free, and the president is the personification of the American individual, the heroic man, the man who makes history, the man who's not restrained by political correctness and party and money, you see, who makes choices from his gut, who's a heroic man, a John Wayne, a Western man, an American man, you see. He's not the elite, cultivated, intellectual, Eastern city man. He's a nature man. He's a real man. He makes history, you see. And the left looks more like it conditions. Well, has Trump, or let's take Hitler, for instance. Now, Hitler, in the view of the German people, was a heroic man, the mythic man, the savior. He has come down to save Germany. And he was portrayed in the movies, in his media, like that. He understood that. Just watched the movies, and he was people had religious experiences under him. Now, so we look at it back now and say, well, did conditions create? Did the conditions of the Europe create Hitler? The conditions of the German mind, the German politics at the time, the collapse of the democracy, the grief and the wound of World War I. Did all these conditions go into making Hitler? Or did Hitler create Hitler? You see? So you got two views. And with yourself, are you created by conditions, or are you a fluke? Are you an anomaly? Did you just appear as you are? Or are you part of the conditions? Your family, your past, your mistakes, your successes, your personality, the culture, your time in history, your race, your politics, all of these conditions. What creates a snowstorm? Does one thing create a snowstorm, or do all these conditions come together to create a snowstorm? So do conditions come together to create a Trump? You see? Or did Trump create Trump? Unconditioned. It's both. But our problem is our intellect, our logic divides them into one or the other, and that's where we get into trouble. One side, Republicans lean toward the heroic individual and put their investment in Trump as the heroic individual, because if you pull that tent pole down, the whole world idea of the Republican Party comes apart. The whole vision of reality comes apart if you take that tent pole out. So trying to bring it down to a little more, what's happening here is that on one side, the Republican side, the right side, is that you cannot separate the president of the office of the presidency, which has the power of the office, the power of America, from the man. The man and the office are one. From the left side, they do separate the office from the man. So you could, if the man is not morally qualified, character-wise, legally, if he's not qualified, if he doesn't obey the law, he's unqualified for the office, so you can abstract him and the office remains. On the right, they have developed a view, the investment, that you can't separate the king from the throne. So that the flawed or perfect, flawed or not, my country right or wrong, flawed or not, my president right or wrong, you see. Because if you separate them, you can question the whole structure of the divine right of the heroic individual. You know, see, so this is why the two views of America would be that, well, everything, if you're poor, just don't be poor. It's your fault. On the left, you say, well, if you're poor, well, it's the conditions. Change the conditions. You can change the poverty. On the right, the emphasis will just change individually. Just stop wanting to be poor. Just get up and get a job. Just do it. Well, both of these views are right, you see, but they're incompatible. So we have to constantly come up with a new vision, a new idea, a new synthesis, a new compromise, a new idea that holds these two contradictory truths together as one, you see, and that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to come up with a new idea of America that holds both principles of the left and the right together as a new one, because the old has gotten so separated. The two principles have gotten so separated, the individual versus conditions has gotten so that we cannot function anymore. So we have become dysfunctional. So this impeachment trial is a morality play where the American people can see how dysfunctional we have come and how far apart the two views of reality have become, so that we, the people, are going to create a new vision of America. And we don't know what it's going to be. We don't know what when the old is dying, you don't know what the new is. When the caterpillar goes into the cocoon, it has no idea what a butterfly is, but it goes. So we're going into the cocoon, and we don't know what's going to fly out, but it will fly out. And it'll be pretty good, I think. Thanks for dropping into this Zen Fit.